Designer Notes Subject 72. About 2 weeks ago, we dove into a discussion about how the Zenith chronomaster is both similar and different from the Rolex Cosmograph. There was much controversy over some watch enthusiasts and how their initial reactions were received publicly. Last week, Omega decided to release the new Seamaster Diver 300M Beijing 2022 Special Edition. Doesn't this remind you of a certain Rolex sports watch? Is this a brand copying Rolex situation all over again? Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us on Instagram at Design Atelier Aruba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatelierviewer@gmail.com. This special edition Diver 300M salutes a milestone in Omega's timekeeping history, as Beijing 2022 will mark the brand's 30th occasion in the prestigious role. It's a long-running tradition for Omega to release Olympic-themed watches, and it makes sense being the official timekeeper of the games. This special edition, not limited, is basically a Seamaster Diver 300M with some notable features. We have the usual stainless steel 42mm case diameter. The lyre lugs are 22mm apart, and with the screw-down crown, you are getting a 300-meter water resistance rating. You're also getting the now famous cone-shaped helium escape valve. This watch is powered by the 8800 caliber movement that is META certified, accurate to 3 to 5 seconds per day, 15,000 Gauss anti-magnetic, and has a power reserve of 55 hours. This movement runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour, that many consider as a high beat movement. In this Beijing 2022 edition, there is no display case back. This is replaced instead with the Olympic Winter Games Beijing 2022 emblem stamped on the Naiad lock case back. This special case back keeps itself upright due to this proprietary lock. Back to the front of the watch, the bezel is a titanium bezel similar to that of the Seamaster Necton. This matches the stainless steel case very well. It has a 12-sided knurling design that's executed in grade 5 titanium with a 60-minute diving scale in positive relief. This is done through Omega's laser ablating process. The dial uses the ZR02 ceramic material typical of Omega Diver 300s, but this one has a sunburst dial finish over the laser cut waves. Still on the dial, we can see the tribute to the Olympic rings on all of the even number indices. These would be surrounded with the colors of the Olympics. Part of the mini track is also reflecting these color highlights. The watch is beautifully presented in a white box that's decorated all over with the Beijing Games logo. Okay, now let's get to the somewhat obvious here. At first glance, many would immediately see the resemblance to the Rolex Yachtmaster reference 126622. The reliefed bezel and the blue dial are the clear similarities between the two. The shape profile is a little bit closer in these two examples also compared to that of the chronomaster and cosmograph comparison on the previous video. But that's where the similarities end. If you stop squinting, you would readily see the difference. The finishing on this new Seamaster is quite different, especially on the case and bracelet. Omega has far more finishing variations on the bracelet. On the Yachtmaster, there is far more integration between the case and bracelet than that of the Seamaster. The center link of the Yachtmaster feels more organic in harmony with the alternating finish of the case and bracelet. On the Seamaster, it feels like the watch case was designed first, then the bracelet was added on later. The lyre lugs have no design correlation with any part of the bracelet. Omega could have made this a bit better if they did the same design direction of that of the new Speedmasters. The blue tone used by Omega is a darker spectrum of the color, with the waves providing more visual noise than that of the simple Yachtmaster. We can commend Omega here with its use of the date window at 6 compared to the magnified 3 o'clock date window of the Yachtmaster. As an added bonus, this new Seamaster uses the 8800 movement, which has the date complication compared to the Nekton's 8806, which lacks this date wheel. Speaking of movements, the Yachtmaster also has an upgraded power reserve of 70 hours compared to that of Omega's 55. On the other side, Omega's 8800 has more than 10 times the Gauss protection compared to the 3235. Of course, it's a totally different discussion of the likelihood of you using that much magnetic resistance. Price-wise, the Yachtmaster is still a tier above this Seamaster, retailing at $11,000, compared to the $6,000 that the Seamaster is commanding. But you know the drill, the Yachtmaster is harder to get even for retail, and Omega generally depreciates a little bit on certain comparable models. Of course, all logic is thrown out of the window on desirable pieces on both of these brands. Compare this Beijing Seamaster to the regular Seamaster with the same movement, with just a different dial and bezel insert, you would be shelling out an extra grand. Is it justifiable? To many it won't be, even though you're getting a grade 5 titanium bezel. For $1,000 less, I would be enjoying a similar watch with a display case back to admire the movement, while others appreciate this special model along with the commemorative case for that extra grand. It's all based on preference. We have made a video about the Yachtmaster versus the Nekton, and in a way, it has prepared us on what to expect from any watch that vaguely resembles any iconic timepiece. 2 weeks ago, it was Zenith, and this past week, it's Omega. In both cases, no one could claim plagiarism worthy of launching battalions of lawyers ready to claim that sweet, sweet dollar from either company. All the noise was coming from the enthusiasts that are merely expressing their enthusiasm. This noise is neither good nor bad, it's just subject to preferences. Opinions that each are entitled to that actually enriches the watch collecting scene. For us designers, it's just fun to see the many subtle divergences and merging similarities between these two examples. Well, in fact, you don't have to be a designer to see them. Nevertheless, it was fun enough, at least to occupy 8 minutes of your time.